In this video, Richard will present an overview of the dashboard views for the new insights.
So as mentioned before, we start by providing a snapshot of the most important KPIs. I select the date range slider and change the end month, and the KPIs are updated respectively. And now we have the snapshot. We can also toggle to display the KPIs as a sum for the date range instead. So that will display only the KPIs that are able to aggregate over multiple months. In the snapshot, we also have the KPIs that are more like a balance on each month, for example, MRR, ARR. So starting by these three groups, the revenue related, the customer related, and the retention. Those three groups and the KPIs related are what we can find in the dashboard, both in these overview boxes, but also looking down to the charts and then further into the details. If we go back to the overview, looking at the revenue, we have recurring revenue and contracted revenue. There is a separate video on that, so I will not describe the differences in this video. We also see the change of each revenue related KPI. That gives you, for this specific month, in this case April, it shows me what happened to, for example, CMRR during that month. And we can also see those KPIs aggregated over a period of time. Then looking down into the customer related KPIs, we find a snapshot related to recurring revenue or to contracted. In the charts area, looking at monthly recurring revenue, we compare it to what is contracted. Also on an annual level, we can see those charts updating depending on the date range. So let's select a larger time period. We can also see that the invoiced amount is more incremental. This is a demo environment and the invoicing is quite incremental. Scrolling down, we can see the change in annual recurring revenue and contracted annual recurring revenue. We display them as waterfall. Let's look into the retention KPIs. Retention is looking at an existing customer base and how we manage to retain them for a 12-month period. In this view, you will have a tabular form showing all of these KPIs found in the dashboard. By default, you get them as time series with months as columns, meaning you can toggle different views to get all the KPIs. You can also flip this data. So you scroll the KPIs on a column level and you get the time period on the y-axis. You can also select the period since start. If I click somewhere in the table, I lock the chart. You see it's not changing anymore when I hover. I can click again and it will dynamically change where I hover the table. You can also, in the tabular form, choose which columns you want to display and customize this view. For all tabular views in Insights, you can click the Excel button and download the data to Excel. If we go back to the overview, the filter area is the same on both overview and details tab. You can add more filters by enabling your custom dimensions on an account level. They will pop up here. That was briefly about the dashboard, and there will be more videos explaining each KPI in a more detailed way.